This episode was created with the support of Free FM, Hamilton, New Zealand's community access media organisation. Visit us at freefm.org.nz.
Hello and welcome to another episode of ReThinking Mental Wellbeing. This is our community podcast where we can talk about everything related to depression and anxiety. So my name is Andre and I want to thank you for being with me over the next half an hour as we share the space of lived experience where we can talk about how to live the best version of our authentic life. So, if you're ready, then I'm ready. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome back to Rethinking Mental Wellbeing. If you're here for the first time, then I welcome you to the show. If you've been here before, then welcome back to the show. There comes a time when the weight of the world gets really heavy for us to bear, when all the noise, all of the expectations, and the endless demands that is put on us gets too heavy for us to wear. We all know this feeling. We call this overwhelm. A flood of emotion, an emotional overflow. Our ancient brains, designed for survival, flips the switch into what we call fight or flight when this happens. We stop thinking as much and we start reacting a bit more. And in this storm of stimulation, even the mundane, it could be a message unanswered, a meal that you can't decide on what to have, a task that you've either not done or put off. Even these small things may start to feel overwhelming. Dr. Anna Lembke of Stanford calls this the plenty paradox. And what this means is that we live in a time of unprecedented abundance, the abundance of choices, of conveniences, of connections, and of knowledge. And yet, paradoxically, we feel more trapped than ever. We have more, yet we feel emptier. We are more connected, yet we feel lonelier. We have infinite choices, and yet we struggle to decide. So have a think about this. How often do you reach for your phone for a purpose, only to lose yourself in the endless scrolling, forgetting why you picked it up in the first place? Our devices that is meant to connect us has become our captors. The flood of information is not just a luxury, it is a relentless flow and tide, pulling us away from the things that truly matter. And in this age of more, why is it that we feel less grounded, less present, less fulfilled, less satisfied? We are drowning in the excess of having too many options in a world that never turns off. But not just in material things, but in our thoughts, our expectations, the things that distract us, our stresses, what we feel we should be according to other people, according to society. Every day becomes an avalanche of obligations and thoughts and stresses and overwhelm, leaving us no space to just simply be. And so we push forward, exhausted, believing that if we just get through today, then maybe tomorrow will be different. Or if we do more, be more, achieve more, have more, then we'll finally feel at peace. But what if the answer is not in adding more, but in embracing less? What if, instead of trying to outrun the overwhelm, we surrender to the quiet? What if simplicity was not an escape, but a return to presence, to clarity, to our true self? What if we choose to let go of what was never ours to carry in the first place? The world around us teaches us that fulfillment comes from accumulation, the accumulation of stuff, of accomplishments, and even of status. But what if fulfillment is found in the spaces in between, in the slowing down, in the stripping away the unnecessary, in choosing to focus on what is truly important, and that is bringing us back to ourselves? Imagine a life where success is not measured by how much you do, but by how present you are in every moment. A life where your worth is not tied to productivity, but in your ability to be still, to be aware, to be enough as you are. We're bombarded with thousands of advertising messages every single day. We are encouraged to compare ourselves to others, constantly striving for this unobtainable idea of what society and other people say is beauty, success, and happiness. We're told that more is better, that we need the latest gadget, the biggest house, the fancier car. And all this noise, all of this external pressure can drown out the quiet voice of our own intuition, the voice that knows what truly makes us happy. My view of the world is only seen as an introvert, and as introverts, we're particularly vulnerable to this kind of overwhelm. We're often more attuned to the subtle energies around us, making us more sensitive to the noise and the commotion in our environment. We thrive in environments that are calm and peaceful, where we can recharge our batteries and connect with ourselves on a deeper level. But in the modern world we live in, with its constant stimulation and relentless demands, that can make this extremely difficult. And the consequences of living in this state of constant stress can be devastating. Anxiety disorders are on the rise. Depression is becoming increasingly common. We're seeing alarming rates of burnout, particularly amongst young people. And many of us are turning to unhealthy coping mechanisms like excessive screen time, overeating, substance abuse, all to numb the pain and escape the pressure. And one of the hidden culprits of this modern exhaustion is what we call decision fatigue, the slow erosion of our mental energy as we make countless choices every day: what to wear, what to eat, how to respond to a message. Each thought, small on its own, accumulates, and that leaves us feeling depleted. The research shows that the brain has a limited capacity for decision-making before it begins to tire out. This is why at the end of a long day, even choosing what to eat feels like a hard decision to make. It is not that we lack options, it's that we're drowning in them. And when faced with too many choices, we don't think clearly. We default to the easiest thing, the convenient thing, the familiar thing as our autopilot. We lose ourselves in the endless scrolling and the endless multitasking, in the illusion that we're accomplishing more, but in reality, we are scattered, exhausted, unable to focus deeply on what truly matters. Our brains were never meant to process this level of stimulation. We evolved for stillness, for presence, but instead we are pulled in 1,000 different directions at once, living in a constant state of distraction and mental fatigue. Overwhelm is not just something internal. It exists in the world around us, and in particular in the spaces we inhabit. It exists in the digital world we engage with, and in the subtle clutter that surrounds us. So take a moment, look around where you are if you're at home. And what does your environment say about your inner world? Does it reflect a place of peace, or does it mirror something within you? An untidy space reflects an untidy mind, as the saying goes. Clutter carries weight, not just physical, but emotional and mental. A disordered space breeds distraction, tension, and a subtle but constant sense of unrest. And the same is true for our digital lives. The endless notifications, the expectations to always be available, the pressure to consume and respond and keep up. And so in this way, we live in a culture obsessed with productivity. It's almost as if the worth of our life is measured by how much we do, by how many tasks we can complete, or how much we can accomplish in a single day. In fact, we often treat busyness as a badge of honor, a status symbol that signifies that we're important, that we're successful, that we're significant. And so we wear our stress almost like a crown, as if being overwhelmed is somehow synonymous with being valuable. This experience is more common than you may think, and it's the result of a fundamental misunderstanding about what true productivity actually means. Productivity without purpose is nothing more than mindless motion. It's like running on a treadmill. You're moving, but you're not getting anywhere meaningful. You're exhausting yourself for the sake of exhaustion. You're achieving for the sake of achievement without ever questioning why you're doing it. And when we focus solely on being busy, we risk losing sight of what is truly important. We may cross off tasks, but we're not necessarily moving towards anything that brings us fulfillment. So the key to being productive is not doing more, it is doing less, but with more intention. It's about saying no to the things that don't align with your values and saying yes to the things that makes your heart sing, that ignites your spirit, that helps you feel connected to the world around you, to the space within you. So there's a term for this, and they call this slow productivity, or even slow living. This isn't about slowing down for the sake of laziness. It is about being intentional with your time. It is about embracing the power of focused attention, of putting your energy into things that add value, rather than scattering yourself in a million directions. This may look like spending time on a project that you're passionate about, rather than cramming in tasks that don't align with your purpose. It may mean saying no to an invitation or an obligation because it doesn't serve you, and instead choosing to rest or engage in something that replenishes your soul. True productivity is the art of balancing action with reflection, motion with stillness, doing with just being. True productivity is about doing less, but doing it better. The power of living a simple life is not about minimizing your life even for the sake of simplicity. It is about creating a life that reflects your values. It's about deciding what truly matters and making everything else less of a priority. It's about making space for the things that is important for you, the things that nourish and fill your soul. When you choose less, you open up the possibilities for more of what you love, more of what brings you joy, more of what makes life feel richer and more meaningful. And this doesn't mean abandoning ambition or retreating from the world. It means making intentional choices, choosing meaning over the noise of the world, choosing simplicity over excess. It means saying no to what drains you. And it all starts with awareness, a realization that we are not at the mercy of the noise around us, that we can step away, we can pause, we can take a breath, not just to fill our lungs, but to remind ourselves that we have choices. The first step we need to do is to create room and space in our life, in our world, and we do this by learning to declutter. There's physical declutter, digital declutter, mental declutter. So start with your physical environment. If your space is cluttered, it is harder to think clearly and focus on what matters. So begin by choosing one area of your home to declutter. This could be your bedroom, your workspace, your kitchen. This could be one box. This could be one item. It doesn't matter where you start. What matters is the consistency that you apply to that. Start your declutter, one small thing, but do it often. Next, there's the digital clutter. How much time of your day do you spend scrolling through social media, getting lost in Instagram or Facebook or TikTok? So what you could do is create what we call tech-free zones within your day. Imagine setting aside a few hours or an hour in your evening where your phone stays off, where you can learn to simply be present with yourself. That's choosing less screen time, less noise, and more presence. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be hard to do. It'll be hard to start with, but it gets easier the more you practice it. And now think about our mental clutter. What thoughts are consistently running through your mind? How often do you feel like you're juggling too many things, overwhelmed by the sheer volume of things that demand your attention? One of the most powerful ways to reclaim our peace is through mindfulness and meditation. These practices help you quieten your mind, It helps you center yourself and connect to the present moment. By choosing stillness, you create a space for peace to settle in your life. And in a world that is constantly asking for your attention, your time, and your energy, it is essential to set boundaries that protect your peace. Saying no doesn't make you selfish, it makes you self-aware. It makes you more in control of your time and your energy, and in doing so, creating spaces for you. Something else that may be useful is asking yourself a question that I learnt from my teacher many years ago. What are you feeding your mind? Be careful what you digest, not just food-wise, but energy-wise. What you see and what you hear. The energy within your environment has a huge impact on our mental well-being. Are you filling your day with negativity, with fear, with comparisons? Or are you nourishing the time in your day with inspiration, with knowledge that helps you grow and evolve? Be mindful of the news that you consume or what you hear. Do you really need to know every detail of every tragedy that happens in the world? Consider taking a break from social media for an hour, 3 hours a day, a week. See how you feel. You'll be surprised how much lighter and more peaceful you feel without the constant pressure of comparing yourself to other people or keeping up with the Joneses. You can also declutter your commitments. We often feel obligated to say yes to everything that comes our way, even if we don't have the time or energy. But learning to say no is an essential skill and necessary to create a simple and sustainable life. And it is okay and necessary to prioritize your own needs and to protect your time and energy. We can also cultivate what we call mindful presence. This is key to truly appreciating the simple things in life. It's about slowing down, paying attention, and being fully present in as many moments as you can through the day. Think about the last time that you truly enjoyed a meal. Did you eat it mindlessly while scrolling through your phone? Or did you take time to appreciate the flavors, the texture, or even the company that you were with? Or when was the last time you went for a walk in nature? Did you rush through it, thinking about all the things you needed to do? Or did you take your time to notice the beauty around you, the trees, the flowers, the birds singing in the trees? Mindfulness that we talked about in last week's session is about training ourselves to be present in the moment, to appreciate the small joys and the small things in life, to find gratitude in our everyday things, in our everyday life. It's about creating and cultivating a sense of inner peace, of contentment, regardless of what is happening around us. And for introverts, this practice can be particularly powerful. We often have a natural inclination towards introspection and contemplation. We thrive in environments that are quiet and peaceful, where we can connect with ourselves on a deeper level. Mindfulness allows us to tap into that inner peace, to find refuge from the chaos of the world outside. One of my favorite practices for cultivating mindfulness is spending time in nature. There's something about being surrounded by trees, by water, by the vastness of the sky that instantly puts things into perspective. Nature reminds us that we are just one small part of something much larger, that our worries and our anxieties are ultimately insignificant in the grand scheme of things. So if you want to, I encourage you to find a way to connect with nature on a regular basis, even if it's just a few minutes a day. You go for a walk in a park, sit by a lake, or simply look out your window and observe the things around you. Living simply also means aligning to your values, connecting with your values, asking yourself what truly matters in life. What are your priorities? What do you want to spend your time and energy on? When we live in alignment with our values, we feel more authentic, more fulfilled, more at peace. We're no longer chasing our goals that don't resonate with us. We're no longer trying to live up to other people's expectations. We're simply being ourselves, living our lives in a way that feels meaningful and purposeful. This is a journey, not a destination. It is about making small, intentional choices every day that moves us closer to a life of greater simplicity, of greater meaning, and greater peace. It is okay to stumble along the way. In fact, expect it. It is okay to have moments of overwhelm and doubt. The important thing is to keep coming back to the intention of living simply, to keep striving for a life that feels more aligned, more peaceful, and more true to you. And when we start to reconnect with nature, with silence, with ourselves, this could be a moment of stillness in your day, a moment of quiet, a moment of peace, a moment of gratitude, a moment of mindfulness. These are the things that heal us. Not another purchase, not another achievement, not another distraction. Just the simple, profound beauty of being alive and present in this moment. And when we slow down, something quite remarkable happens. Our clarity returns. Clarity to finally understand the things that are truly important and truly matter in life. The weight begins to lift. We remember that success isn't found in the endless productivity or keeping up with the world's expectations. Success is living in alignment with our own heart and our own values. It is found in simplicity, in mindfulness, in choosing peace over perfection. That we don't have to live in a continual state of overwhelm. We can choose a different way, a way that is slower, a way that is gentler, a way that is ours. And in this simplicity, in this stillness, we might just find what we've been searching for all along. Not a life of more, but a life of enough. And enough is everything that we need. So that's all I've got for this episode. Thank you for joining me today. And I hope that you've got something useful from this discussion. And if you have any questions you would like us to discuss on future episodes, then please email me at rethinkingmentalwellbeing@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. So until then, go well, go in peace, have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
This Free FM podcast was brought to you with support from New Zealand On Air.